one of the things that causes marital conflict or leads to the end of a marriage is interference by in-laws. And you have mentioned that it is, some of them, it is with a view to protecting the interest of their own, whether it's their son or their daughter or their brother or their sister. It's only that sometimes when we go overboard, all parties, then it becomes a problem. We know that ordinarily, the ideal situation is for everybody to be on good terms, for you to like your in-laws, you know, take your own, your spouse's in-laws as your own parents and relate with them, you know, the way you relate with your father and your mother, and then even your wife or your husband's brothers and sisters to also take them as your own siblings too. That's the ideal situation.
Yes.
But sometimes there is conflict. Sometimes there is disagreements, and most of it center around the way the spouses are treating each other. Like I always say to people, if a man says, for instance, that my parents-in-law don't like me, or my sister-in-law, or this and that, the question is, how are you treating your wife? There's something they must have seen. There's something for them to say that, okay, this our son-in-law, this our brother-in-law is not a good person. So this is where the problem starts. And then we have overbearing parents too. Their parents their children have gotten married, but they are not ready to let go. Yes. Of the apron strings. They still want to be attached to their sons or their daughters, and they try to manipulate or control what is happening in the marriage. This is where the in-law problems. Of course, the person in question, the person at the receiving end of their interference, we want to resist. Like, this is my family, this is my home. I don't want you to come and dictate to me what. So definitely conflict will come. So the ideal situation is for everybody to try to be cordial and to respect each other, but it's inevitable sometimes that there will be conflict. And one of the instances is where a particular parent-in-law is being overbearing, or the son or daughter-in-law is not treating his spouse well, which makes her family to want to react. So those are some of the instances that you can have.
I've actually seen instances like that where the wife will be complaining that my husband doesn't talk to my mother-in-law, or my mother-in-law doesn't like talking to he doesn't talk to my husband, or he doesn't receive gift from my husband. So at the end of it, you get to see that is probably the husband must have done something to that in-law, maybe in a disrespectful way. Of course, it's not everybody that wants to take, even if you're giving me money or you're taking care of my family, it doesn't mean you should disrespect me or I'm still your in-law and all that. And then the most annoying ones, barrister, the most annoying one is sisters-in-law or brothers-in-law. In fact, sisters-in-law in particular, they always have that issue of feeling, trying to feel entitled to their brother, forgetting that they to their women too, they will go somewhere, get married someday, So that's just, it happens a lot.
One of the most commonest instances also is where a mother-in-law wants to say that, start to feel threatened by the presence of the wife. Your son has not gotten married, but you're not feeling as if this his wife is a threat to my position in his life. As a rival instead of a daughter. That's a very common one.